Drunken Hat.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. Today, the Trelasara deck using Trelasara. 2/2 for 2, and when she gains life, you put a +1/+1 on her and scry 1. So it's a life gain deck. Specifically, it's an iterative life gain deck. It's not like a big chunk coming back at once. It's I gain 1 life here, I gain 1 life here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And it's a bit different than a lot of life gain decks you might have seen elsewhere. Yes, it does use the Trelasara staples like Ozolith, Shadow Spear. Putting a Shadow Spear on her, letting her trigger herself, and gain trample, so when she's getting bigger and bigger, you're still getting damage through, is very good. And the Ozolith, it takes all her counters whenever she dies and can put them right back on her. Or on, like, something else you have. More just fun stuff. Tenacious Pup I really freaking like. You play it turn 1, and then on turn 2, Trelasara comes in as a 3/3 Trample Vigilance. That's amazing. That is amazing. I guess it's because it says when you cast your next creature spell, it's not next creature spell this turn. But I really don't see why that can't be in paper Magic. I like this card, but hey. I'm not going to try to pretend that alchemy makes any sense whatsoever. Instead, let's look at the deck in general. And you might have noticed this very strange Paradox engine over here. Like, what am I doing with this? Why would I play this card? I'll tell you. Aetherflux Reservoir. That's why. Being able to empty your hand, there isn't a whole lot of stuff that I can play, like, off the top. But Augur of Autumn, if you get that right setup, you can really just go infinite with it. Also, in general, I like the Paradox Engine's ability for me to have a lot of these artifacts, just kind of play them, untap them, play, untap, play, untap, that sort of thing. It's just... It was in there in the initial version, right? And the more I've played it and, like, looked at it, the less I really feel like I need this. Because when I have those, like, I kind of don't really want... Because I want the Reservoir, right? Because there's the Reservoir, if you're a life gain deck, you always run it. Just because you can be like, oh, I win? I win? Especially, like, if you're already over 50 life and you just play Aetherflux Reservoir, pay the 50 life, bash your opponent in the face for 50. Yeah. But then it's just, I don't know. Well, yeah. Yeah, you know. It's fun sometimes. Then we're running, like, the standard Fountain of Renewal, the Soul Sisters combo. Well, not combo, but the Soul Warden, the Cleric class. That sort of, like, initial, I'm going to gain a bunch of life. Because we're running a 2-cost, Mox Amber can be played. Voice of the Blessed. There's been a lot of, like, really good stuff recently with the, in terms of life gain. Like the Book of Exalted Deeds, the, what is it? No. Voice of the Blessed, Prosperous Innkeeper, just a lot of these cards that have just really lent themselves to being able to play the best life gain you can. But yeah, in general, because I'm iterative healing, I want to play, like, all the little things that give me, like, a little bit more life, or at the end of my turn, give me a little life. Cosmos Elixir, this is the alchemy buffed version, so it has a scry on top of the life gain. Because it wasn't already really strong. But yeah. Cigar to Splendor, more card draw off the life gain. Angel of Destiny, you can just make your opponent lose. 15 life over your starting life total is not hard to get. It is not hard to get. But yeah. Primal Command is not really in here for the life gain. It's more in here just because it's an amazing card. Like, if you know if you've got the Trelasara and you're attacking, dealing damage, and you're like, oh, I could use an extra... I just need, like, one more turn to swing. You Primal Command, pop a land on top of their deck, they're drawing that land next turn. They're not top decking an answer. Also, just being able to search for a creature is also just really relevant sometimes. In this, you're probably just going to grab like an Attendant Healer or... There's not much to pick, so that's maybe not what you're doing. But you can always just gain 7 life. You can always just gain 7 life. They're running Great Hanj, because Great Hanj plus Paradox Engine equals multiple gaining 2 life. And if you just start hitting creatures, you can just potentially just creature, 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 creature. Look at my massive board state. You gonna do anything? Didn't think so. Especially because we're running Teferi's Protection. And I should... this is a Hatter mistake. I should be running Heroic Intervention, but I'm not, apparently, because I'm dumb. Always run Heroic Intervention. If your deck has white, you run Teferi's Protection. If your deck has green, you run Heroic Intervention. Unless Heroic Intervention is the only one that maybe you don't, if you're like Planeswalker focused and you're not playing creatures in green. I'd like to see that deck. I'd like to see the no creature play green deck. That'd be neat. But in that, aside from that unlikely situation, you're just always running those two, because when your opponent plays a board wipe and you respond with a Heroic Intervention or a Teferi's Protection, this isn't like Commander where the next guy in line can just like play another board wipe or what have you. This is Brawl. This is one-on-one. That ends games because they're like, well, my board's gone and now you've got your full board still. I guess I give up. Teferi's Protection is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. I've got like Honden, just because I'm not really running the big shrine, but this is an extra 2 life every turn. Yeah, that's what it is. I should be running the green one, the green Honden, not the new shrine, but the old green. Actually, I should be running both. Those are actually really good. Because the old green Honden makes a 1/1 for every shrine you control, and just getting 1/1 every turn and triggering your Soul Warden or triggering your Johnny's Welcome is pretty relevant. And the other one during your pre-combat main phase just adds mana. So I'm like, okay, I'll take an extra mana every turn. I'll take 2 extra mana every turn. It's unlikely that you're going to see multiples because I'm not exactly searching for them. It's not a big enchantment focus deck, but having them could potentially slot in over some of these things like Paradox Engine, Replicating Ring, Cold Steel Heart maybe because it comes in tapped. I don't know about Azar's Gateway because I like being able to cycle my hand, and occasionally it transforms into I have all the mana. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I actually didn't forget the lands this time, so my Into the North actually would have done something had I drawn it. I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. But yeah, that's about it. It's just like your standard, I gain life, I have Griffinary, I've got the Book of Exalted Deeds, and no, I'm not running the Book of Exalted Deeds nonsense. That nonsense. Nonsense! Because that's incredibly just... A, it's 100 cards, I'm not likely to get the combo. And B, even when you get it and you execute it and you just can't lose the game anymore, it's just so toxic. It's just... I hate it. I personally hate it because then you can just like pass all of your turns forever and your opponent will eventually mill out. And even if they have a way to prevent themselves from milling out, you're just like, well, we've both played our entire decks. What you gonna do? I don't like it. I don't like it. They really need to. Of all the cards that need errata, that need a rule change, this is one of them. This should be errated officially, like in Paper Magic, like they did the what have you, the companions or whatever. This should be errated to target non-land angel. Just because that combo, it's jank. It's a jank combo, to be fair, but it's relevant enough to where it just ruins, like, so many... I just don't like it. But yeah. The main reason I run this is obviously because of the 3/3 Angel, on top of the 2/2 Griffin, on top of the 1/1 cat lifelink cat. Or no, it's not a lifelink cat. It's a cat. It's just a regular cat. But yeah, it's some token generation. Yeah. Aside from that, I think that that about wraps up this deck. Running some cheap card draw. Admittedly, in this kind of deck, you don't really suffer for card draw because I'm scrying a lot. I'm getting what I need. I don't really need to super worry about drawing all the cards. But yeah. Once again, thank you all for watching. If you liked it, give it a like, share, subscribe maybe. Check out my channel. I upload Magic the Gathering content daily. And if you'd like to see this deck in action, you can go check out that video. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Drunken Hat.